Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina, I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I am bringing you my next update on my Project Level Up palette that I'm currently working on. I'm currently on level 4 and I have some exciting news for you guys. Today is the day that you guys get to vote for palette for level 5. So if you want to cast your vote and help me decide what palette I'm going to be working on for level 5, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you are new around here and you want to keep up to date on this project and any of my other project pans that I'm doing this year, make sure you subscribe down below. And without further ado, let's jump on into the video. Alright guys, so I am currently working on my Kaleidos Flower Punk palette as voted by you guys for level 4. So I haven't reached all my goals on this palette, but I am doing exceptionally well. I'm doing so much better than I predicted. So because of that reason, you guys get to vote for level 5 at the end of this video, because I'm almost certain by the next update we will be rolling on to level 5, as a little spoiler there for you. So stay tuned for the voting at the end of the video, but for the start, we are going to roll through my progress on this palette. And oh my gosh, guys, your jaw is going to drop. I am making great progress. So, oh, it's upside down. Look at this palette. Can you see what I can see? Okay, so I have reached my halfway goal for my pans to hit. I have hit 2 pans and I have exceeded my goal for reaching for every pan in this palette 4 times. So let's go through the palette and let's see where we're up to with my usages and how many uses it took for me to hit pan on these 2 shadows right here. So we'll start off with Mint Fever. Now Mint Fever I have actually only used 4 times, and my 4th use was actually what I've got on my inner corner today. And I actually quite like the look of having like a neutral eye with like a little bright pop on the inner corner. So I think going forward that might be something that I want to play with a little bit more when it comes to palettes in general, and even like palettes that I rotate into my pan those eyeshadows. So that's just a fun little feature that I discovered today, just like a nice little neutral eye with just that like pop of that like minty green on the inner corner. I think it looks pretty rad. So I've used this one 4 times. Moving next on to Aloe Cove, which is the shimmery mint color here. I have used this one 7 times, and I actually think my uses from that was two uses to do eyeshadow, and then the rest of the uses was coming from nail polish. So I painted my both hands with, I think it was a black nail polish, put this over the top, and that made me reach my 7 uses on that one. Next up is the color Stained Glass, which is this shimmery pink color. And you may see there is a ginormous dip growing on this one here. I am predicting that this is going to be the next one that I will hit pan on. I've used this one 17 times. Now, from memory, 15 of those uses were from nail polish. So that's why I've managed to get this ginormous dip going, because I've used it. I've like repainted my nails 3 times, and I've done like an entire set using this pink nail polish. So that one I think will be very close to have pan next. I probably maybe only like 1 or 2 more uses and I'll have pan on that one. Next up is the color Novu, which is this darker like pinky mauve color. Now I do have pan on this one, and I managed to hit pan on this one with 19 uses. So that's that pan right there that you can see. The next one is Peach Soju. Again, I've managed to hit pan on that one. I got pan on this one with 14 uses. Moving along, we have Chlorophyll, which is 4 uses. Then we have Golden Age, which I have used 8 times. Next up is Sungazer, which I've used 5 times. And last but not least is Earthship, which I've used 8 times. So this is how the palette is looking in terms of wear and tear and uses. So I've managed to hit my goal in terms of using every pan at least 4 times. I've currently hit pan on 2 shadows, which means I need to hit pan on 2 additional shadows. Now I think I will 100% have pan on stained glass by the next update. I think, as I said before, it's probably only maybe like 2, maybe 3 out of max uses left on that one before I hit pan. Then for the 4th and final pan, I have no idea where that's going to come from. I'm actually a little bit nervous because none of the other pans are showing like dramatic wear as the stained glass color is. So it might be something that I really have to knuckle down and put some commitment into. I have a feeling that it will be like this shimmer here, or maybe this mint shimmer. That's how I'm feeling at the moment. I think like I've got a bit of a dip going in Aloe Cove, and if I use it a little bit more as nail polish, I might see pan pretty quickly. And same for Sun Gazer. Sun Gazer I've been using it as like a lid shade, and it's absolutely beautiful, but I reckon if I used it as a nail polish, oh man, I think it will be next level, just because the way it like shines and just it's super impactful when I use it as an eyeshadow. I reckon applying this over a black nail polish, I reckon it might be next level. So I think that's my predictions. 100% stained glass, and the 4th and final pan will either come from Aloe Cove or Sun Gazer. So that's how we're going. That's how we're going on this palette at the moment. I am like 3/4 of the way through my goal on this one. So I'm going to pop this one to the side. Now, because I'm so close to hitting goal on this one, I just need to do those 2 more pans. I am going to grab out the next round of palettes for level 5. So you guys can vote on which palette you want me to work on for level 5. So I am going to randomly generate 4 eyeshadow palettes. I will show you all of them, and you guys can let me know down in the comments which palette you want me to work on for level 5. So I finally imported, or I finally downloaded the Tiny Decisions app, and within that app I actually uploaded all of the palettes that I have in my collection. However, the only problem is I've got a spreadsheet that contains my entire eyeshadow palette collection, and I've also got a spreadsheet that contains all of the palettes that I don't have pan in. So I'm going to reach for the spreadsheet that has palettes with no pan. From memory, this is up to date, but it may not be up to date, including the like new palettes that I rotated into my pan, those eyeshadows last month. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't get any double ups, but let's see which palette we have first. So first up we have the Blush Tribe Paulina palette. Interesting. Then next up we have my Lisa Eldridge palette. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember which palette I have, but it's the neutral palette. Actually, there's only 6 pans in that palette, so if I rotate that one in, then I will have pan on like 90% of the palette. That's alright, that's alright. And then we have, I also have singles in here, so hopefully I don't end up getting any singles. Natasha Denona Star palette. Ooh, I'm getting some difficult ones pulled. And last but not least is Colourpop Just My Luck, which I actually currently have in my pan those eyeshadows. So I'm going to roll again because I don't want to have double ups. And I'm trying to use this project to help me get like pans in every palette. Juvia's Place Zulu. I don't have any pans in that one. Okay, so I've got all 4 of my palettes here in front of me. You guys let me know which ones you want me to work on. I'll start off with the first one that I rolled. That was my Blush Tribe Paulina palette. Now this palette is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. So the next level I'm moving up to is level number 5. So I would need to have 5 pans in this palette, or hit 5 pans in this palette, and also use every shade in this palette 5 times. It's actually quite a bright, colorful palette. So I might have a little bit of trouble using this one like 5 times every shadow, but I'm definitely down for the challenge. So that's the first option. Then we have my little Lisa Eldridge palette. This is actually one of the newer palettes in my collection. This one that I have is Cinnabar. In this palette, there's only 6 shades. So by the end of the like level, it would mean I would have pan in like 5 of the 6 shades. So that's what it looks like. It's like a very neutral palette. It is a neutral palette. So not the most exciting, but it's definitely a palette that I could get a lot of use out of. Then we have the Natasha Denona Star palette, which is probably a little bit more challenging. It's the one that has the most amount of shades out of all of these palettes. This one actually has 18 pans. So this one would require a lot of uses, and I think it would be one that would definitely take me a lot longer. But in saying that, there's also a lot more variety in this palette to like mix up which palettes or which pans I'm wanting to like hit pan on. But again, it does have some neutral options in there, so I would be able to get some of those uses done pretty quickly, given that there are those neutrals in there and I could wear them to work really easily. But however, it is that challenging aspect of the fact that there are 18 pans in here that I would need to use 5 times each, plus hit pan. And it's Natasha Denona, which is also a lot harder to hit pan on. So this one would definitely be a challenge. Last but not least is the Zulu palette, which also contains 9 pans. Now this one is the most colorful out of all of them. The Paulina palette is like midway colorful, but this one is like full on, all out colorful. So I definitely think that this one would allow me to do like those pops in a corner that I was talking about, that I've been doing with the mint green from the Flower Punk palette. Like this one's got oranges and it's got yellows, blues, purples in there. Like basically all of those bright matte colors I could pair with a neutral look for the pop on the inner corner. And then it's also got these 2 like neutral colors, which are potentially ones that I would focus on to hit pan. But given that it's like 95% color and then just like 2 neutrals, this one I think again would also be a big challenge. So those are the 4 palettes that you get to choose from. It's going to be a challenge. I'm very interested to know which one you guys are going to vote on for me to use. But just to be clear, let's roll through them again. The first palette was the Blush Tribe Paulina palette. That's what this one looks like. So it's a very like green, pink, purple palette. Then we have the Lisa Eldridge Cinnabar palette. This one is a very, very neutral palette. That's the Natasha Denona Star palette. And then the last one was the Zulu palette. This is the Dubious Place Zulu palette. And that's what that one looks like. So those are the choices. Cast your votes down in the comments box. I will be counting them all up just before the next update. I can't wait to see what you guys decide on. If you did enjoy this update, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below so you can keep up to date on my updates on this project and any of my other project pans that I'm doing this year. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, beautiful.